Hi guys. So I wanted to make a YouTube video mainly because I do have a YouTube channel and I don't really post, and I would like to talk about the three things that are important to me and why. My name is Mary. I love when people call me girl. It's because girl is kind of just like girl. When I was in high school, I used to post a lot. I would post on my Instagram, I would post on my Snapchat. All my friends were able to look at them, and sometimes they would just say, girl, under the comments. And before, it would feel like, oh, are they judging me? But then later on, it made me feel like they see me, even though what I'm doing is silly, crazy, stupid. It's it makes me happy. So yeah, that's the reason why my name is Girl on TikTok. And ma'am, I like ma'am. But yeah, my name is Girl. You could call me Girl, you could call me ma'am, but you could also call me Mary. Um, I sometimes like having those names instead of actually using my real name on the internet, mainly because I do feel like there are people out there who um, lose themselves, and I don't want to lose myself because you guys are using my real name when I can sometimes be performing for the camera. So that is my personal reason. And thanks for listening for that. Now, this is my true, authentic opinions on the three things that are important to me and the themes that have happened or has or the themes that are occurred in my life. So I'd like to express these, and I'm so excited for you to get to know me, and let's go into it and understand, and please understand that although these are important to me, you might be like, okay, then why aren't you doing such things now? I think I have them within me, and I don't need to prove myself to other people just because of it. At the same time, I hope to continue having these three themes in my life to have the best life that I would like to have. Okay, so number one, the first thing that is important to me is individuality. I feel like there are a lot of cool people around, and I'm so happy that there are. I feel like it's important to be able to express yourself and also trying your best. Like, I have been braiding my hair, and I've been braiding my hair since high school. And when I first started, my friend, they were like, oh yeah, like your hair looks so bad. And then years later, they were like, hey girl, can you braid my hair? But it takes willpower to work on your individuality. It takes willpower, time, effort to do what you would like to do. And when I was in high school, I kind of was thinking, hey, I would like to be the best version of myself. I don't want to make myself into a copy of someone else. There were people coming up to me asking me, like, who do I like and they want a specific answer. They want an acceptable answer. Mind you, I actually wasn't really crushing throughout my life. Like I do, but it's not, no. But when they would ask me about specific people, the reason why I would say no is because you guys want me to like this person. I feel like even with TV, they're trying to make people heartthrobs, trying to push these people into our lives when your individual self is present. Your individual self doesn't need to aspire looking for other people when you should be thankful of what's around. Now, I did grow up Christian, so is it the 10th commandment? One of the commandments is don't be envious. So, I feel like even though religion can be anti-individuality, according to Nietzsche, I do think that religion does promote individuality because you're like for Christianity, you are living in a place where everyone is going to want to do things that you know isn't going to better yourself. Are you going to do it because it's cool, or are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it because you want to take care of yourself? And that's fair. So I think in general, I really love being my individual self, trying to question, do I really want to do this? I keep getting invited to parties, and I'm not a party person. I love to dance, but whenever I'm there, people don't fuck with my vibe because I used to drink when I used to drink in the dark. I used to drink in the dark to hide from my parents. Shh, the door is open. And when I would do that, I would just have to act like I'm not drunk in front of my parents. So I coped by being quiet. But I just feel like I tend to be quiet, but I love being able to just relax, have fun, and talk. And just in general, prioritizing my individuality makes me my happiest self. Makes me understand that I'm human. I feel like I've watched a movie where they had to learn that the best part about life is realizing that because you're human, there will be ups, there will be downs, there will be hardships, and there will be happiness. And you just gotta appreciate every single moment. So, did I stop or kind of slow down my individuality? Well, you don't know me, but maybe just a little bit. I moved to a different city. I made new friends, and I made a lot of friends that are very different than me. And luckily, many of them have been eager to live my life. And so I have been eager to live their life. So yes, I did go to a party. I went drinking. I fell and I bruised my knee. Bruised it. At the same time, I'm learning that there's so much out there, and I'm excited to have so many stories. And honestly, the worst thing that I've done is be rude to my individual. I am rude to myself. I don't believe in myself. But maybe, just maybe, I think I was trying to be patient. Wait until I healed. So, my YouTube is proof of that. I didn't even think I was supposed to be posting, not gonna lie, um prior. So but yeah, I just been having a good time being my individual self for years. A way to be individual, to prioritize myself, I think I was able to talk about my days on social media. That was very fun. With TikTok, I would make skits or any way to express myself. So I just highly recommend things like that. Being able to express yourself, recognize who you are while spending your days. So I just really like it, my individualistic self. The next thing that I really like is Friends, not the TV show. So now I am like a social media girly, and I've made a lot of friends through social media. And one problem I have noticed is that sometimes I would lose friends off of social media because people see me, my friends will see me as a character instead of a real person. So there are times where they will say something mean to me as if I'm not real or with feelings. But I've had some great friends who were there for me always, and I would like to talk about them. Unfortunately for me, I feel like I tend to, or I have been, I've had friendship on a pedestal. It's been very important to me. I have friends who I've known since high school. I reach out to my friends, making sure that they are cared for and loved. And honestly, I think it's really important because there are times I've seen it in my own eyes where I'll see someone who barely has friends, and then they'll get into a relationship, and the relationship isn't even that sweet. You could still be your individualistic self while being friends with people. And I really appreciate the people in my life who, although we joke together, it's not there are priorities with friendships, and I've lost a friend recently mainly because I told them that what they were doing was rather weird. And what they were doing was staying on the phone while they were on a sleepover with me. And I'm fine. It's nothing bad. But being able to focus on your friends is so cool and sweet. And you could have the best time of your fucking life with a friend. There are times where I would have bad dates after bad date after bad date. And then I was like, why am I not literally going on these dates with my friends? I'd rather go to a bar with my friend than with a guy. I'd rather go walking, picnicking with a friend instead of with a guy. And it's mainly because I don't know why this society is making us do this, but there are people prioritizing strangers than the people that they are in their life. And it's because they don't know the stranger. So you're able to project all these things towards the strangers. Mind you, the stranger is not going to execute any of the requirements that you would like to have in your life. But because you're able to have these daydreams, it's like, oh, okay. And the connection accelerates quickly because of all sorts of things. I went on a date recently and I hated him, and I told him that I hated him. Will I ever see him again? No. Now, why is it that my friends are so much better than a random guy that I would date? Pretty interesting. I have some pretty cool friends. My friends has been really important to me for years. So, I really like my friends. I've lost friends before, and I feel like whenever I lose them, it's just because of poor communication. Poor communication off of their end, high key. Because I'm just trying, but also I can also be projecting my, hey, like, my coolness. I believe I'm cool. I believe I'm awesome. I believe I'm great. And so I'm projecting these things onto them as well. Also believing like, hey, like, why don't you like me? Like I'm literally all these things. And you're all these things too. So why aren't we working out? But it's because sometimes they don't think that way about themselves. And they also think that I consume a lot of energy, which is a fair thing to say. You know how Beyonce was like, why don't you love me? Baby, baby, why don't you love me when I make it so damn easy to love? Do I make it easy? Maybe not. For relationships, for friendships, I just need time and effort and genuineness. And sometimes people are going to hate you. Sometimes there are incompatibilities. Sometimes people, because of my individuality, people look at me, like my friends, they look at me confused, not understanding that I like the way that I am. I think the reason why I use individuality in my friendships is so I could spot who is not supposed to be in my life by the reaction of my choices, because my choices are there. They are not meant to be the worst, but they're there. And because I have tried my best to be secure in myself, it kicks people away, and that's fine. They're just not supposed to be in my life. So if you're dealing with something where you feel a little bit alone, you will feel alone with the wrong people. So you're just one step ahead of healing by being away from those people. Now, that kind of sounds like some AI AI advice. Run away from the people who love you. But that's not what I'm saying. I feel like sometimes step back from people who disagree with your choices in your life, the choices in your life that make you happy. Step back. They will notice that you are happy. You're living your best life. You're living large. And hopefully one day they could be like, oh, sorry, I didn't know that this was the best thing for you. I say that because I loved braiding hair. I love it so much. I have so many really cool styles. And this girl in my school, she told me, well, your hair is so bad. And I was like, oh, okay. But then a couple years later, she's here asking me to braid her hair. So I do think that me stepping back was good for me. Because what the hell? What type of friend says something like that to you? And it kind of just makes me laugh. And you don't ever have to accept those types of people in your life. So it's just a fun thing to do, to prioritize yourself, prioritizing your individualistic journey. Yeah. My dog is here. Such a sweetie. This is my dog. His name is Martin. Hi, Martin. Hi, Martin. Anyways, the second thing that I love friends. And yeah, the one thing I'm working on is letting friends go. But I'm also not the same person who is like, I'm choosing myself. I'm sorry, I'm not going to your birthday party because I don't like parties. You know, I'm not like that. I try to be there for my friends. I'm very inviting. I'm very sweet. But because I'm all those things, it does come with some dangerous people to my psyche. The third thing I really love is comedy. I love watching that shit. When I was young, I did not like to read. I had a friend who was a reader, but I was a mathematician. I hated word problems, but I loved math. I loved numbers. They just made sense. It was like a puzzle. So my friend, she was able to read, and I didn't really like reading. There was this one time where I had an iPod, and this other girl who hated reading, she was like, oh, you should just like cut a hole in your book. And so during reading time, you could just play games. I did that shit. Oops. So in general, I did not like reading. I did not like spending time trying to create this world. I did read like some books. There was some pretty good books, but it wasn't for me. Until I read this autobiography, and it was called A Child Called It, which is a sad book about child abuse. And not gonna lie, that might have been one of my favorite books of all time. I really like a sad, depressing story that just makes you appreciate life a lot more. And so I was like in like 4th grade reading A Child Called It, learning about child abuse. And I read it again and again and again, and A Child Called It might have been my favorite book. And David Pelzer was my favorite author. I read A Child Called It. I read The Last, is it The Last Boy? I read the second one about foster care. And then I read the little third book called A Man Named Dave. And A Man Named Dave talks about how he was a new father and how the child abuse affected him during that time. Reading those sad books made me believe that autobiographies were one of the only things that would be captivating for me. Later in those years, maybe around like high school, like early high school, my dad, he started watching The Daily Show, and he was like, whoa, like Trevor Noah's really good. And I would watch Trevor Noah, and he was hilarious talking about The Daily Show, what's happening in the news. And then my dad put on his comedy, and his comedy was funny as hell. Trevor Noah is kind of the first comedian that I was watching. He was really cool. And then I saw that he had a book. I think I read it in sophomore year of high school. I read his book, and it was the perfect combination of hilarious comedy, but drama. That book was so good. I think I read it 3 times. It was always exciting. It was so funny. And I learned that I really liked a combination of dramedy. Like another one would be like Shameless. Shameless is dramedy. We have I watched this movie yesterday on the count of 3. Dramedy. BoJack Horseman. Gerard Carmichael. His stand-up called Nathaniel. Dramedy. I like that comedy or comedians, especially when it's the dramedy section, they have this sense of real life emotion with the combination of comedy that makes you laugh and empathetic. And I really love that type of shit. Now, throughout my social media times, I don't think I have had that sense of dramedy. I've had comedy and I had drama separated. And the reason why is because it takes a lot of talent and willpower and vulnerability to be open like that in front of people. John Mulaney is another example of this shit. So what I'm saying is that now I do love my dramedy, my sad comedy. I like being able to hear these stories where someone was probably so upset, but when they expressed it, it's just like, oh my gosh. Because when you're in the moment, it's so fucking sad. But when you're out of it, you could notice the beauty outside of it. That's why On the Count of 3 is so good. That's why Baby J by John Mulaney was so fucking funny. You know, it's these things that you're just like, wow. I gotta just get myself out of my head, you know? I like different types of comedy. I like sad comedy. I think sad comedy is just my favorite, so that's why I'm talking about it. But I really like comedy. There's several comedians that don't talk about their life. And I applaud them. I think they're trying their best to have this space away from their audience. For instance, Adam Sandler. He tends to play a guitar and he just makes songs sometimes, and there's a sense of goofiness and all sorts of things in there that makes me think, I don't really know him, but I like this. For him, as well as Ruben Solo, I think Ruben Solo is really good. He is a Australian comedian who kind of creates this goofy heckler environment. The thing is that when people are in those types of environments, the heckler environments, you need participation. So the participation is encouraged by being your individualistic self. I really do like that. Adam Sandler is very silly, and he is just being himself. And we're just watching him, you know? Sorry, I got tired. But I think in general, I'll try to make more videos for you guys. Thank you for watching. Talking makes me tired, and editing also makes me tired. So, but please watch my TikToks. You could follow me at girl._.stop STAHP. Go stop. That'll be fun. I like to make fun videos, and I like being my individualistic self. I like to talk about friendships, but I also like to think about comedy and stuff like that. So, if there's anything that is important to you, please tell me. I'm very excited to listen. Okay. Bye, guys. I think I want to say bye. I think there was nothing else I'd like to say. Let me check my list. See questions anywhere, and I might not we will never have easy to think. Express myself. Okay, I have everything I wrote down. I talked about everything I would like to talk about, so all is good. Thanks for watching, and yeah, bye.